There's an interesting question researchers have been circling for years. We know psilocybin can help adult brains, improving depression, addiction, even rigid patterns of thinking. What happens if exposure happens before the brain has finished developing? A team led by neuroscientist Craig Ferris at Northeastern University decided to test exactly that. They took adolescent mice, roughly equivalent to human teenagers, and gave them psilocybin every day for 10 days. And then they waited. Months later, long after the drug had left the body, the researchers returned and examined everything that they could: behavior, brain structure, connectivity, sensory responses, even molecular markers linked to gene regulation. On the surface, the mice looked normal, but underneath, their brains had changed. Both male and female mice showed reductions in overall brain volume, yet the locations were completely different between the sexes. There was zero overlap. The same drug produced two entirely different developmental outcomes. At the same time, brain connectivity increased dramatically. More regions were communicating with each other, even at rest. So this didn't look like simple damage. It looked more like reorganization, as if developmental wiring had been subtly redirected. Behavior told another part of the story. Female mice became less exploratory. Male mice carried lasting molecular changes in proteins tied to neuroplasticity and epigenetic memory, almost as though the brain had recorded the experience as part of its developmental history. And that's really the key insight here. Adolescence is one of the most intense rewiring phases the brain ever undergoes, pruning connections, stabilizing networks, and deciding which pathways last into adulthood. Introducing a powerful neuroplastic compound during that window may not break the system, but it certainly influences how the wiring settles. The study doesn't argue that psilocybin is dangerous for young brains, nor does it contradict its therapeutic promise in adults. It simply reminds us that a developing brain is not just a smaller adult brain. Timing matters, biology matters, and context matters. And as psychedelic science moves forward, nuance, not hype or fear, is probably the most important thing we can carry with us. For more on this and other mushroom stories, sign up to my newsletter by clicking the link in my bio.